Good morning, dear students. Today, let us learn about the skin. It is the largest organ of our body. We all have skin, so we know that we get the sensation from outside through our skin. Uh, uh, on touching, we can understand about different object, whether it is hard or soft, or hot or cold. We can also sense the pain, pressure, etc. we sense through our skin. Then uh, many of the recognizing features uh, and to recognize a person, the skin help us. It is giving the complexion, white or dark complexion, such because of the presence of the skin and the type of hair, we are identifying a person. The skin may, its texture may different from the old person. It is wrinkled and loose, or in young people it is tight and smooth. Such features of the skin help us to identify a person. Then it is covering almost all the parts of the body. Skin is covering all, even the internal organs are covered by the skin. Then skin has many functions. Let us see the functions of the skin. It is protecting the inner body parts. You know that from drying up of the body, and it is preventing the entry of germs, etc. are done by the skin. Then again, it is protecting the underlying tissues from the mechanical shock. Mechanical shock. If anything touch on our body or hit our body, the internal tissues are protected by the skin. It prevents excessive loss of water by evaporation. It is tightly packed, so our blood and other tissue fluid will not dry up because of the presence of the skin. It is covering all these parts. Then it is preventing the entry of germ. Then it is also protecting the body against excess ultraviolet rays from the sunlight. It is protecting the inner part. Then it is the protection that is over. It is helping us to sense our surrounding. It is a sense organ for touch, pain, pressure, heat, etc. We can understand about our surrounding with the help of skin. Then it is also regulate the temperature of the body, because we know that through the skin a lot of heat is radiated out. At the time of cold season, certain fatty cells are below the skin that can insulate our body. So skin help us. Then again, we know that by the process of perspiration or by sweating, it can give out a lot of heat through the skin. All these things happen. Then the storage of food. The skin stores reserve food in the form of layer of fat. If we consume too much fatty substances, the fat may be stored under the skin so that it can be used later. Then the excretion. It is giving out through the sweat. It eliminates, it give out excess water, some salt and some urea. Urea usually it is thrown out by the kidney, but at the time of sweating, some of the urea and the excess salt, water, etc. also escape out or give out through the skin. Then again, we know that the skin can synthesize vitamin D. Here one thing, this is a minor function. Its mechanism is not yet fully understood. When the scientists cannot understand how the vitamin D is created inside the skin, but it is done by the skin. Exposure to sunlight, skin can make vitamin D. Then again, it give a grip. You know that skin of our fingers and palm form ridges and grooves on the. You can see certain grooves and ridges we can see കൈ വിരൽ ഫിംഗർ പ്രിൻ്റ് എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് ദാറ്റ് ഫിംഗർ പ്രിൻ്റ് ദാറ്റ് ആർ ദ റിഡ്ജസ് ആൻഡ് ഗ്രൂവ്സ് ഓൺ ദ പാം ഓർ ഓൺ ദ finger and palms we have that grooves are there. On our feet also we can see, on the foot, underside of the foot also we can see such ridges and grooves that can give grip on the surface when we touch anything or when we walk. This ridges and groove give us grip. Then let us learn the structure of the skin. First you can see skin proper and derivative of the skin. Skin proper meaning the usual skin on our face, hand, etc. Then derivative of the skin meaning skin is changed into hair, nails, mammary gland, sweat gland, sebaceous gland. All this hair is also an outgrowth that is produced by the skin. An outgrowth produced by the skin to protect our head. Then the nail are the derivative that is formed from the special protein known as the keratin that is producing the hair, nail, etc. that are growing from the skin surface. So it is known as the derivative of the skin. Mammary gland meaning milk producing gland in mothers, that is also produced by the skin, that is the derivation of the skin. Then sweat glands. Then sebaceous gland meaning oil producing gland on the skin that are produced by the skin. Its outgrowth or it is changed. Derivative meaning skin is changed into other structures. Then the proper skin, usual skin has an epidermis and dermis. Epidermis has certain layers known as conified, granular and germinative layer. Then dermis consists of the elastic fiber, blood vessels, nerves, etc. Let us see the skin proper, the epidermis, dermis, that structure we can see here. This is the structure of the skin. You can see the part known as the epidermis here. Epidermis and dermis you can see. In the epidermis, the outermost layer is known as the cornified layer. Stratum corneum you can see here. This is the outermost part of the skin. It is very tough, a kind of protein, keratin substance may be accumulated, a hard protein that are found in the skin or the hair is present in this corneum, and it is produced from the lower layer. You know that here other layers are there that are granular layer. You can see the granular layer here. Granular layer, you can see the what is granular layer. From these lower layers of this, then again you can see another layer known as stratum malpighi. Stratum malpighi layer you can see, that are the germinating layer. From this layer new cells are produced and that may be pushed outward. So from this stratum malpighi the upper layers are formed. Finally the stratum corneum are dead cells that are produced from the lower layer. താഴത്തെ ലെയറിൽ നിന്ന് ആ മാൽപീജിയം കോർണിൽ നിന്നും stratum malpighi, from that layer the other layers, the upper layers are formed. When new cells are produced from here, that may be pushed outward. Then the stratum corneum, that is the toughest layer, they are dead cells that may be wither out or fall out after protecting the inner part. The outer layer may be fall down when we clean our body. So you know what are the epidermis, cornified layer, that is the stratum corneum, then the granular layer, the lower living cells, and germinative layer meaning stratum malpighi. You see, stratum malpighi is known as the germinating meaning new cells are produced there. So this is the upper layer of the skin. Then the lower, the dermis part, elastic fiber, that dermis region, you can see this is the dermis region that consists of elastic fiber, that giving an elasticity for our skin. If we pulled some skin, that may regain its shape if when we release, or when we release the skin, if we pinch a part of the body after releasing it, that may come back to its previous shape because of the elasticity of the skin. So elastic fibers are present in the dermis region. Then again blood vessels, you can see blood vessels are coming from the nerves and blood vessels, vein and artery. You can see here vein and artery is present, that is bringing blood towards the skin. Skin also has the circulatory system is supplying enough blood to the skin. You can see the artery and the vein here, and the nerves are also present. You can see some of the nerves are also going, so that we can sense pain, pressure, etc. we can sense because of the presence of the nerve. You can see the nerves are bringing sensation to the lower part of the hair. That is why you can see this nerve is ending at the lower part of the hair. That is why we feel pain when if somebody push the living hair from our body, we may feel pain because of the presence of the nerve ending at the lower side or at the root part of the hair. You can see a hair shaft here, that is growing from the skin. Hair shaft meaning the visible part that is coming out, outer portion of the hair is known as the hair shaft, and here you can see the root. That part is known as hair root part. That is a part of the hair is rooted inside the skin, like the root of the plants. It is coming down and pierce the skin, and you can see the lower part of the hair, that is the hair bulb. From this new cells are added so that may be pushed outward. That is how the hair growth occur. Hair is growing from the root part, hair bulb part. Here new cells are added to it. With that a protein known as the keratin, that is making hair very hard. That protein, the presence of that protein giving the hair that hard texture. You can see the part of the skin that is giving space to that hair, that part is known as the hair follicle, a pore-like region on the skin from where the hair is coming out, that is known as the hair follicle. The cells in the hair follicle should be healthy, otherwise hair cannot grow very well. You can see the fat cells that are deposited under the skin. You can see the fat cell. Then again the sebaceous glands are present. Sebaceous meaning oil producing glands are present, that is pouring oil to the base of the hair. Through the hair, that oil may be come out of the skin. Sebaceous gland are pouring oil at the base of the hair follicle. Some of the sebaceous glands are opening directly to the outer area of the skin, but some of the sebaceous glands that are pouring oil to the base of the hair. Then again you can see this is the sweat glands. Sweat pore you can see. Sweat pore you can see through the sweat pore. Sweat is coming out. വിയർപ്പ് പുറത്തേക്ക് വരുന്നതാണ് sweat pore. Then sweat is produced from the that is taking water from the blood that is flowing through the skin. From the blood sweat is formed. Taking water and other substances from the blood, and it is water that is coming out through the sweat pore. So when this water evaporated, the skin become cooled. So we can reduce the body heat by the process of sweating. Then again you can see another structure known as the sweat pores are there. Then free nerve endings you can see. Free nerve endings you can see here, so that we can sense the heat or cold, etc. We can feel by the presence of this free nerve ending. Then another structure you can see here as the papillae. Papillae are certain areas that are bulging out on the skin, certain areas that are giving so that certain layers certain sensory cells may be present at that region of that papillae. Then again you can see the coloration of the skin. Skin give the dark or the light complexion because of the presence of this particular pigment known as the melanin. Melanin is the color giving substance on the skin of people. Here the Europeans will have less melanin on their skin, and the Negroes will have more. The Indians will have intermediate or wheatish color because of the presence of this melanin presence. The more melanin may be produced with the help of sunlight, or melanin may accumulate at the surface area of the skin, or produced more because of the sunlight. If we are exposed to more sunlight, more melanin may be created. Then two abnormal condition of the skin pigmentation is known as leukoderma, or also called vitiligo. That are the pigmentation is lost from smaller or larger patches at different regions of the body. നമ്മൾ വെള്ളപ്പാണ്ടെന്ന് പറയുന്നതാണ് ല്യൂക്കോഡർമ. ആസ് പാച്ചസ് skin loses its pigment, that melanin may not be formed in certain regions as patches. That is known as leukoderma. Then albinism, that is a hereditary disease. That is complete loss of pigmentation of the skin all over the body, including hair, eyebrows, eyelashes, and even the iris. Iris meaning the inner part of the eye. All these parts lose complete loss of pigmentation. That is a hereditary disease. Because of the due to inheritance, this kind of skin disease may abnormality occur. Then again at certain places, the dermis, epidermis and dermis of our skin is very thick on the palm or the soles, very thin at other parts like the eyelids. In certain region, you learned about the epidermis and dermis. In certain regions, the dermis is very thick. At the palm, certain areas it required very hard. Otherwise, we cannot hold the substances or to hold the things at or to walk, that our palm or the sole is protected by the addition of dead cells or the living cells. At certain part, epidermis, dermis, etc. are very thick. In certain regions, it is very, in eyelids, it must be very thin. So it may vary. Then, another several structures that are the blood vessels, nerve fiber, sensory organ, hair follicle, sweat glands, etc. are formed from the dermis region. We saw it. Then another information, the leather obtained from the hides of animals is actually the dermis part of the skin. In animals, the dermis is so hard, so leather is produced from this part. Then again the other structure, papillae, small process, the papillae, which contain blood capillaries and nerve endings. It is for the sensation of pain or the touch. This area, the papillae will have more. I show you the structure, the papillae here. Here more sensory cells are present in that process known as the epidermis, certain region known as the papillae, that will have more sensory cells are there. Then let us learn about the derivatives of the skin.